Hello, Elite Dangerous community. Um, as you may know, or most likely, probably 99%, you may not know. Um, uh, I do play games from time to time, stuff like that, and um, sometimes I do play games solo. Sometimes play with a long time friend of mine, and we do have um, this other channel that we do play together. Um, but this is not what I'm doing this video for. The video, in fact, is because I'm getting into playing video games. Um, I run into this issue when trying out for the first time Elite Dangerous, um, in which obviously when you first start install the game and you start it for the first time, like every other game, it tells you to calibrate your um, um, is essentially your brightness, um, but in the menu it's going to be your gamma. Um, and at least in my setup, um, when I follow the instructions and move this so that way the left image is barely visible. Um, I'm not quite sure if I maybe made it went all the way and made it almost invisible. Um, Not quite sure what happened, but nonetheless, it was all the way to the left, and indeed you couldn't barely see. So I followed instructions too well. Okay, so by doing that, when I started the game, stuff like that, the game looked fine, but the lettering, pretty much on anything, was barely visible. So and it looked kind of grainy. So yeah, that would not work. That would not work, definitely. Um, Now that made everything look a little bit dark. The structures, the scenery and everything. Um, but it was kind of sort of expected to look that way because you're in space. You don't have an abundant amount of light bouncing off the atmosphere and stuff like that. So because there's no atmosphere, so when you first start playing the game, everything looks fine around you. Obviously, a little bit too dark, but again, there's no refraction. So yeah, it's kind of sort of expected, unless there is a light source. Um, but again, the lettering on the HUD and everything was just not playable, that way. So I went ahead and went to the options, went to the graphics, and um, went to the gamma settings to change the gamma settings, just to slide it over a little bit, so I can see the words a little bit better. Um, but that didn't work. In fact, that particular menu, or I guess in the sense that sub menu, actually froze. You couldn't move the gamma at all, nothing like that. The slider, it doesn't matter what button I will press, it just would not move. The keyboard, the mouse. I mean, I try everything. It would not move. Um, Click back, and that menu will still persist. In fact, I actually had to get it off the screen. I will actually force the game to exit. So, so if that's happening to you, whether your game looks fine and you just simply just want to adjust your gamma and you having that kind of issue, well, there is help. There's help-ish. So what I did was, so I went ahead and obviously I click on uh, I think it's support or whatever it is on the game, and it brought me to the Elite Dangerous site. In fact, it brings you directly into the the search for any category or whatever it is that you need support on. So I tried a couple of things. I tried Gamma, and I don't remember what other thing I tried. Um, there were a few things that it was ballpark, but it didn't give me much. So I went ahead and obviously video settings, of course. That, yeah. So I tried video settings, and the even though there's a whole bunch of words on the screen, um, which a lot of times I don't pay attention too much, but me knowing about a few things here and there, and of course, yes, it was the first show, is the first search result that came out, but this here was what um, popped on the search, despite all the other words and letters and sentences and stuff like that. This here then indicated, hey, wait a minute, there is a setting that I can go to in this location. So immediately that obviously, even though I forgot to mention, I actually went ahead and uninstalled the game and reinstalled it twice, and in the second time that I did it, it actually pops up saying that the settings would not be erased. And it's like, okay, guys, how about a reset menu or reset button, that if you want to your defaults, whether if it is for your controls in all the three categories, or if it is your video settings, give us a default button. In case you mess up, you can actually go and reset it. Who knows? Maybe there is. I don't know. But anyway, since I don't read a lot of the words and letters that form sentences that might give me the results, I like to just yeah. But anyway, so but yeah, so uninstalling it, reinstalling it, that does not work. Yeah, your settings are actually kept under your user profiles under the C drive, which is okay. I mean, um, I'm not quite sure why would they put it there instead of together with the game, but I mean, it's for whatever reason. But anywho, so what you have to do in the event that you already haven't discovered that is that you have to go and oh yeah, by the way, and this here only appears only in one location, and it's going to be under the user that is logged into the machine when the game was installed. And because it has, well, typically this folder here is hidden, and of course the big giveaway obviously is the percentage sign on each side. So you have to do you have to unmask those hidden folders. So what you have to do is you have to navigate to your users, and of course this is my user, and as you can see there is no AppData or nothing like that. So you have to go to view, you have to go over here to options, and you have to go to view again, and then you have to say show hidden files and folders and drives, and etc., etc. And voila, and there it goes. It appears. Let me see. Hopefully that can be seen better. Okay, so when here, and you have to go into local. No, not the other local, but the local one, because there's a local low and there is just local. There's a roaming one, but you don't have to worry about that stuff. So as we saw on the instructions, that kind of sort of were instructions, but you have to put the rest together. You're looking for the frontier folder, not elite dangerous. So you have to look at where your the brand of the game creator is under. In this case, I had 3, so I just simply just went to the first one and look at it. It's elite dangerous, and then besides the rest of the folders that are in there, this pretty much is where all your settings for the games and stuff like that, and I suppose maybe licensing all that, and maybe that's why they put it under the user, because this then validates your 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 ownership of the game, perhaps, and maybe other things are in there too. But anywho, so I went to options, and voila, these are pretty much the same menu headings that you will have in the game. So obviously I went to graphics. In here you're gonna find many different menu sections. So instead of double clicking on it, what I like usually to do, because I don't want to execute anything that might probably crash the machine, or just simply just gonna not open it. Especially when I have configuration files or HTML files or XML files, I like to typically open it in Notepad. And if this is checked off, even though you know that is the file format that you want to open it with that particular app, I typically uncheck that, just in case if it fails or what have you, and I have other options to open it. Plus, I don't want to mess up the default app that that particular extension uses to open it. So Notepad, because the way it doesn't have any type of extra markers or nothing like that. So I'm not quite sure what file is the setting that I'm looking for is at. So I just start from the first one, and since I'm looking at it, not executing it, I open it with confidence. So as you can see, it opens up in plain text, which is awesome. It wasn't encrypted or compiled, nothing like that. So it opens up. So keeping in mind of the menu options that I saw in the in-game menu, I'm looking at this here and say, oh, okay, yeah, I saw that there. Oh, I saw that there. So I know that I'm in the right track. So let's see. Looking for the gamma, because that is pretty much what is messing my optics of the game, my clarity of the game. So I'm like, okay, it's not in here, but I'm looking at the stuff that looks familiar, and more or less what they were at by default. I didn't mess with much of that stuff. So I'm gonna go ahead and go to the second one, and this one I'm gonna go into edit, and they open up in XML typically will open up on, if you choose edit, of course, it's gonna open up the editor, notepad editor. And this here doesn't give me that. It's a refresh rate and stuff like that. Okay, that's not it. I open up the other one, or edit the other one. There's nothing there. Um, and it looks like some kind of override. I'm not quite sure what that will do, but it's going to override something, I guess, if you choose to. So I'm looking through this one here, and oh, look at that, gamma offset. So and yeah, I kind of sort of pretended that I just found it, but that was my original uh, emotion or whatever. Uh, so originally, this was like this, indicating from the center position from 0, I guess, um, moved all the way to the left. So before I change any of the numbers, I just went ahead and removed the negative, because it's okay. So if it's negative, it means okay. So, so that's my train of thought, and I went ahead and saved the file and started the game and went into the graphics options, into the gamma, and sure enough, the slider then was all the way to the right, and I immediately saw the difference because the splash screen was much brighter, and there were a lot of details that I didn't even see because I had set up the gamma all the way to the left. It was too dark. So yes, there are other choices and other stuff here that you can manipulate your settings. But if they work fine on your in-game menu, just do it from there. It's much safer. Um, Now, one thing that I later on tried to do was, okay, let me see if I can manipulate the slider. Because, by the way, even though I was able to manipulate it through here, the gamma submenu will still crash, and the slider will still not work anyway. So it wasn't that by doing this I fixed it. There must be something else that makes it crash, or more or less, in a sense, um, invisible, I guess. Well, it wouldn't be invisible. Well, it's crashing because it just stays um, on the screen no matter what menu you choose. You have to actually force out and then come back in. So I said, okay, so let me just see if I can just manipulate the numbers and make it just slightly less bright. So I went ahead and changed the 2 to a 0, saved the file, opened up the game, and it said that the game was not, that I didn't own the game. So it was like, that's very strange. This is going crazy on me. But since this was the last thing that I changed, I put it back to a 2, saved the file, and then it was back to normal. So there are some, since that I haven't checked to see if at a 0.9, if we would accept that or something like that, or if I will add a negative, but then make the number a lot smaller, meaning I want to travel towards the left. Um, if that would would take in the slider, then just move towards the left since it will be a negative number. Um, so I didn't try none of that stuff. So I just left the way it was because the game plays just fine the way it is. At least in my setup, it's not like it's blinding the scene or nothing like that. It looks fine. Um, but yeah. So I just want to make this real quick video, which is turning out not to be that quick. But I just wanted to let you guys know that if you run into an issue where your gamma settings or any other settings for that matter is not responding on the in-game UI, then you can actually go into your user profile. Of course, you have to don't forget to unhide the hidden folders. So you have to do that. You have to go into your user profile of the machine. Obviously, the user that installed the game, obviously, and you have to make sure you go to your local data folder, and then in there you find your frontier into the subfolders and stuff like that. And under the once you find the Elite Dangerous sub folder under the options folder, then on the graphics sub folder, in the menu you're looking for, it's going to be one of those 5 files that are there. So just make sure you edit the file or open with. This way you don't execute the file, whatever you're looking at. Your first choice should always be to edit it. Obviously, you're not going to change anything unless you actually saved it. But when you edit, you're just looking at it. So yeah, that worked for me, which is making the game much more enjoyable because now I can actually read what's in the HUD and any other lettering, and I can obviously see the game better. But yeah, so that's all I wanted to bring to you guys today, and I'm gonna continue exploring the Elite Dangerous game. It is the first time that I have at least planning to getting into flight simulators. Hopefully after this it's gonna be DCS, but I need to obviously get a little more familiar, get my feet wet in Elite Dangerous, and then graduate from that. But yeah. So thank you very much, guys, for stopping by. Hopefully this was informative, and I was able to make your day a little bit brighter. Pun intended. But anyway, so yeah. Thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next one.